Hi, I'm Mr. Franklin, and welcome to our weekly overview video. So first thing you should do for this week is navigate to modules. And if you have not, minimize all of the stuff from the previous units or previous lessons. And let's take a look at our overview and agenda. Real quickly, one thing I'm going to do this week for our overview and agenda is I am going to be putting links from the agenda directly to the assignment. So you could just come to this one page and click through if you would like and jump to the assignment you need to work on. So I'm going to be doing that. I haven't done that with all of these just because of how exporting courses work, but there will be a link for all of these. And this will be where the link for this video is. So for this week, our overall goal for this week is to learn how to do 7-step problems with acceleration and to talk about gravity, weight, and mass. So we're going to talk about those two things this week. Our first assignment for this week is a what do you think? So you could either navigate there or you could go down to the bottom and click next. You can also go to the module and go to this unit. So this is physics 2.4.01, what do you think? And it's about falling objects. There's a quick video with Brian Green, I believe. Brian Cox, sorry. Brian Green does a different video. Okay, so Brian Cox is gonna walk you through a vacuum chamber and we're gonna do Galileo's experiment. So pretty cool little video. It's something that we don't really get to see because of our world bound with air resistance and friction. So watch that, answer the questions. Then I made a short video clip, okay, where I am going to drop some objects to also demonstrate how gravity works and pulls on objects with the same, at the same rate. I even got some slow-mo footage in here, so enjoy that. So watch those. It's going to talk about how things are pulled by gravity, and then you're going to pick one of the two items from the end of my video and describe as best you can how you think gravity is causing it to work like that. Okay? And the next item for Monday is 2.4.02 vocabulary review. And the big thing on here is the data table here is this table. So we've been really focusing on units and variables. So here's the table of units and variables for this week. You might want to copy this down in the back of your composition book or on a piece of paper and put it with all your notes so that you can refer to these. You should probably be making a master list of all the units and variables that we are using. Okay, so this is one that we will talk about in a video, but I want to stress that it is force due to gravity. And the little g just tells us that it's a force that's due to gravity. This is not multiplying. This is just telling us that the force, the F, is a special type of force. There is the Kahoot and Quizlet from a previous unit. You may also be using your flashcards, but I really think this is the #1 thing you should be looking at for this week. We will also be looking at gravity, weight, and mass this week, so be very familiar with those words. All righty. Next, we have some video notes. Now, this one definitely needs some explanation. There are really two ways to do the video notes. So the first, and these are all about doing 7-step problems with acceleration. And so option 1 is you can watch the entire set of videos and the homework problems aren't assigned until tomorrow. So then you could wait and you could do the homework problems. That's option 1. The other option is watch the first video because there's a series of 3 and then go and open up the homework problems that I'm about to show you and just do questions 1 and 2. Because the first video does an example problem and then question 1 and 2 are exactly that kind of problem. So you could watch the video, do the practice problems, okay? And then do the next video, the second video, and do problems 3 and 4. 5 and 6, you may actually have to watch the third video, but you can do those other problems. So you can do it that way, or you can watch all the videos and then do the actual 7-step problems later. So that's how you can do the videos and the homework. But here is the Google Doc for the notes. This is for the notes. So if you want to take notes on this, you can go open that up, and you will probably have to make a copy for yourself. Go to File, make a copy, and then change it to put your name, not my name, put your name, and then now you have your video notes, okay? And then when you time to turn it in, you can turn in this doc. Otherwise, you just do it on paper, take a picture of the doc, and submit the paper, okay? So I could do that. And now I've got my copy, and now I can do my notes. So if you are doing the homework on the notes on paper, which is what I would recommend, strongly recommend, that you can insert it here, but I've also enabled it so that all you have to do is when you turn it in, you just attach your pictures like normal, okay, to the assignment turn in. That's the way it should be set up. Okay, so here is the videos. So here's each one by itself, but I've also created a playlist on YouTube, and it has them already set up to play in order. Now I own the channel, so it's showing you a different view, but if you clicked on that, we click play all, this is probably what you would see, okay? So watch the first one. You can watch all 3 of them, or you can watch the first one, do the practice problems, then come back and watch the other 2. So the practice problems that I've given you, they're in Canvas. These problems are much more challenging than what we've did 2 weeks ago. So make sure that you are showing all your work, doing your steps. This is where it becomes important to probably do these on paper. But here is the problem. If you do it on paper, you can just insert the picture of the problem of your work right here. Just go to Insert, Image, and then you can choose one of these that works best for you. So you can Google Docs on your phone and then upload it to the Google Doc, and then go back in here and open it back up and turn it in. There's a Canvas app for your phone. You can turn it in through there. Just make sure that if you're doing anything on your phone, that you give it time to upload to the internet. So when you put a picture on your phone in here, on your phone, it's going to look like it's there, but it may not have uploaded yet to the server, so that if you go on your Chromebook, it may not show up. So just be patient with your phone, give it some time to upload, and then it should update, and you should be fine. But so here are the first 2 problems. They are solving for acceleration. So they're a specific type of problem. And then the next set are specific types of problems. And then there's another set of 2. So I basically do 2 of each. This last one, you're probably gonna definitely wanna watch that last video, because you have a negative acceleration here, and you're gonna wanna watch what happens, okay? Alrighty, so that is your homework problems. Now, once again, these are assigned for Tuesday, but you can like start on it while you're doing the notes on Monday and kind of work back and forth. Work however you need to work for yourself. Just know that this can take a little bit of time. Okay, so I don't think they're specifically hard, but it does take some time to write out the problems. Okay. Gizmo, and we're only doing activity A, so it's actually pretty short. We're going to do the free fall laboratory. So if we go into the Gizmo and we log in, if you don't have a login, make sure that you are messaging me so that I can set you up with a login, or your teacher can set you up with a login. But free fall laboratory, that's what we're doing. And you will launch the Gizmo, and you have this object. Now the Gizmo actually tells you what settings to set, but let me just show you a couple places here. You got a button here where you can show the object that we're dropping. And so I'm actually going to change it to a rock here, and we can see the force on the rock, we're actually going to be able to see the acceleration and all kinds of stuff, okay? So we also have the height of the rock, so we can change how high off the ground it is. And we can also change whether there's air resistance or no air resistance. And then when I click play, we see the rock fall. And then we can look at a table of the time, the height. So you can see it's falling. The height is getting smaller and smaller. Okay. We can see the velocity. So it's speeding up, but it's negative because it's going down. And then we see that the acceleration is constant, is unchanging. If we were to graph this, we would have distance, velocity, and acceleration. So this would be a curved line. This would be a angled and straight line. But it would have a negative slope. And then this would be a flat line, but on the negative part of our coordinate system. And guess what? Here is our distance graph. See, it's curved. It's called height, but height is the distance, right? We're traveling a certain distance in meters. We can look at the velocity graph. So notice that we got a distance that's curved, but our velocity is angled, but it's a negative slope. And yes, it's velocity. Okay. And then our acceleration is on the negative axis. So on the negative axis of our acceleration graph, now we have our acceleration. So that's from last week. So now we're going to be looking at, most of our acceleration from last week was in the X direction. So this week we're going to be looking at gravity and what it does. Okay. So you have a table, you have this bar chart as well, which shows, you can actually have it show the numbers. And then you can use those graphs. You can also change where you're looking. Let's see. So you can zoom in and zoom out. I probably won't mess with those too much unless I really, really had to. But like right here, the arrow is off the chart, so I zoomed out so I could see the force arrow. Okay. So that's what that's for. If you need to take a screenshot, it does have the camera icon. Okay. So this one's going to be for the drop chamber, and then the force graph. You can do the right click to copy and then paste into your document. Our graphs also have a picture icon up here. So you have this side of things has a picture, and then this side of things, you can take a screenshot of the graphs that you're making, okay? So make sure that the first part is more of an exploration, seeing what you know already, and kind of a little bit of a warm up to the gizmo, making sure you know how to work it. And then you're going to reset, and then you're going to drop each of these objects, and you're going to take a look and see what happens when you switch different types of air. Okay. And we're going to see what happens as things fall. Later this week, we will do the second part of this, or a third part of this, and look at it some more through the lens of gravity. On Wednesday, you're going to have gravity, weight, and mass video notes. For my class, we're going to be watching my set of videos. So I'm going to briefly explain, and you're going to take notes of what's written on the board. Hello, I'm Mr. Franklin. You're going to take notes on what's written on here on the screen. Do your best to copy these drawings. Make sure that I'm going to add stuff to this, so make sure you fill in the blanks and get down what gravity is all about. Then, in the next video, you're going to watch a video about 7-step problems and Newton's second law. So it's actually going to be a little bit easier than the ones you did earlier in the week, because it's just going to be force equals mass times acceleration, fairly simple. But make sure that you watch this, and then the next day, on Thursday, you will go through and do the practice problems. So here, notice that I haven't given you the template. So this time I want you to try to do it on paper. Just take a picture and then upload it here. Otherwise, you can make a copy of the previous template and turn in the Okay, so 7-step problems, okay, they're fairly straightforward. I give you one of 4 different types of problems. The last one is specifically about how gravity works, but there's a couple of them that talk about gravity. On this one, this problem right here, we're going to have the weight of the object on the Earth, but I want to find out what the weight of the object on the moon is. We just have to remember that mass never changes. Okay, so if I take a bowling ball from here to the moon, it's still a bowling ball. Nothing's changed about the bowling ball, so its mass is the same. Its weight will be different, okay, because the moon is smaller, so the gravity of the moon will be less on the bowling ball. Okay, so we're actually going to do the math to figure that out. Then we have the second part of our free fall gizmo. It's actually part C. We're going to skip the middle part, and you're going to jump into doing this. Now, this actually may require some 7-step math when you're working through this. So there's a couple of questions where it gives you the equation, distance equals velocity times time. Don't let the average throw you off. It's just velocity, okay? So distance equals velocity times time. That's on your equation sheet. So you're going to have to do some 7-step work, okay? So that's one reason why you're going to be doing this, because you do 7 steps, but you also get to see what happens when you do that, and that the 7 steps work, okay? Or that's the goal of this. Okay, and then Friday you're going to have your practice test, your your quiz for the week, and it will be have a couple of 7-step problems. It'll probably have one of each type of 7-step problem, but I'm not going to tell you which type is which. It's going to have a solving for distance, solving for acceleration, solving for velocity. It's going to have a force equals ma and probably a weight 7-step problem, and it will probably have questions about gravity. So that's what you can expect for your quiz. And then don't forget your weekly reflection. I do read those. It helps me plan the next week, so make sure that you are doing that. Also, make sure that you are making a plan for yourself. I know it can be tough, but students that are doing really well are analyzing how their week went and are making plans for themselves and not waiting on anyone to come and talk to them. So squeaky wheel gets the grease. If you are having problems, make sure that you're communicating with me, because I am more than happy to help you out. But I don't know that you're struggling if you don't tell me, especially because I can't read your facial expressions because we're not in the classroom together. So please make sure that you're filling this out, telling me what you did learn, what you didn't learn. And I know it can feel kind of painful. Why are we doing this? But it is actually a really big help. It's one of the only ways that we can communicate effectively, student to teacher, about what's going on. So please fill that out as honestly as you can and take some time with it. Also, one last thing, don't forget this week, you should be working on your quarter project. You should have already turned in quarter project 1. I will be getting you feedback soon. Make sure that you are finishing up, that you are working on quarter project number 2, TED number 2. Make sure you're working on that. Don't wait for me to tell you to work on number 3. So by the end of this week, I actually want both of these. Okay, so get on these, get to working. And as soon as you get those done, then you can actually pick these 3, and I will be posting some stuff on the video presentation. So the video presentation is going to be really simple, and you're going to be basically presenting one of your talks, the information you wrote down, you're going to be presenting it to the video camera. Okay, so for right now, you need to focus on number 2 and number 3, and later this week, probably on Tuesdays or Wednesdays Zoom, we will talk about the video part of this. All right, that will wrap up this week. So do your best. Make sure that you are doing your work as on time as possible, and so that you can come to the Zooms with questions. I'm trying to give you more time in Zoom to work, but that's so that you can ask me questions and so we can work things out together. All right, that's all I've got. Have a great day, and I'll see you in our first Zoom for the week.